made an appearance.
Yeah.
But these guys are proven guys. These guys know how to play, and their system works well. What is the Bears system? Because Mike Martz might not be here next year. What's going to be?
Oh, well, Angelo might not be here next year. See, this is the thing. You don't know what's going to happen.
Nobody knows what's going to happen. Because are you talking about completely cleaning house?
No, you're not going to completely clean house because Lovey's still going to be here.
But if you give up Jerry Angelo, the next GM is going to want to bring in his own guy.
But you know what? I wouldn't mind keeping Lovey.
I'm not saying what we would want, or I don't mind keeping Lovey. What do normal GMs do?
They do. They usually they do come in and they clean house and they bring in everybody they own. I will say this though, I would not be shocked if somebody do come in, if it's a completely different
regime.
I mean, just completely different. Then yeah, of course Lovey's going to be gone. But Chicago is what? Home and defense. You have a good defense. We'll probably still give you another 2-3 years.
I give him 2 years.
Maybe 2 years. Possibly stretch it out to 3, depending on who they bring in. They get some good safeties, and they get another DN to go with Julius Peppers.
They could get a cornerback, someone who could flat out just cover.
Well, yeah, but those coming dime a dozen though. You don't know when you go.
But you have to find them.
Those are hard
because everybody forgets Peanut Tillman was found out of Tuskegee as a second round pick.
True.
So you can
finding a shutdown cornerback is like finding an elite quarterback. But it's like finding Tom Brady. You don't find too many Tim Baileys. You don't find too many Deion Sanders. You don't find too many.
But in this division, who's gonna be the team that goes? The Lions, the Bears, or Minnesota? Someone's gonna have to find themselves a cornerback, not just a quarterback, to sit there and be able to shut somebody down. Because
you asking for the moon and the stars and the sun.
I'm not asking for the moon.
Dude, it's hard to get. That's hard to get.
I'm not talking about a complete Darrelle Revis. I'm talking about someone who can cover sufficiently enough.
You want 2 Charles Tillmans?
If you could give me another Charles Tillman, I'd be happy with that. Because Charles Tillman isn't elite, but he's above average.
But he's good, yeah.
He's very good. Because these offenses are just every year. More and more yards are getting thrown. More and more yards are getting thrown. And if you're not going to have an explosive offense, you better be able to cover.
Look at what Pete Carroll's building up in Seattle right now. Look at those cornerbacks. Well, 6'3", 6'4".
Well, you know,
that size, that's going to be the prototype.
But you know what? But that's what Pete Carroll's known for. He's known for making good defenses. And
remember, this is a copycat league.
And Pete Carroll has one thing on his side that a lot of people don't know. He revamped Seattle. Seattle had become an old team. And in 2 years, he brought in a bunch of young players. And this had just been...
All he needs is a quarterback.
And all he needs is a quarterback. And isn't this interesting? You can go get probably Peyton Manning at the end of this year for a couple first-round picks.
Won't happen. Won't happen. He's not getting traded. It won't happen.
I'm not saying he would get traded, but do you not make the phone call?
You can.
No. You got a broken neck.
I'm not saying. Wait a minute. Everybody remember this is about 20 years ago. You guys remember this more than I do.
What?
Everybody thought Joe Montana was done.
Did he have a neck problem?
He was left.
My man, he could barely turn his shoulders and find a receiver.
I'm not saying that he's done, or I'm not saying that he could play. But if he gets medically cleared, you're talking about one of these guys that you can tell when he's sitting there on the sidelines throwing the ball every time he's looking.
Let me tell you something. I would love a 74 Impala. But that SOB only have 3 wheels. I ain't getting it from him. I'm not buying it.
I'm not saying you're not gonna buy it. But if he
then why the hell would somebody make a phone call?
But if he gets medically cleared, you have to make the phone call. You have to give when you feel you're a quarterback away. A quarterback away. We're talking about you're saying Seattle's a quarterback away. And if you get every indication that he's 100%, you're not gonna just see him.
I'm not giving him 2 number ones. I'm not giving and this is another thing.
If you feel you're that close to
the value, they're not that close. One, I mean, I get you. Hypothetically, but hypothetically, still, he's too close to getting hurt. That's the thing. Like you're talking about 2 number ones. I even gamble,
or whatever, or just making a phone call. But I'm just saying a phone call. I'm not saying to do it.
Let's take it back though. Talking about cornerbacks. One, the Bears run the cover 2. Where cornerbacks really isn't as important as those safeties back there. Safeties play cornerback a lot in this cover too. All right, so we haven't had steady safeties since Mike Brown was here. All right, what was it this year? Was the first time 2 safeties started 2 games in a row or something?
Yeah, you're right. It was 4 games in a row that Conte and Major Wright had started in a row.
Let's go back to GMing. All right, first let's go to the Pete Carroll thing. You know the biggest thing that's helped Pete Carroll? Pete Carroll had to go out and try to get all these kids to come to SC. He scouted these kids since they was in high school.
He knew they
like
could
his
play.
book. Think about the volume of information he has on this player since high school to how they performed on a big stage in college. That right now he has a leg up on a lot of head coaches coming into the game.
That's why, I agree with you. That's why I look at Harbaugh right now. Harbaugh is just like Pete Carroll right now. They have a leg up because it's like what you just said. They scouted everybody. I mean, like Dex want to talk about cornerbacks. Like he talked about earlier. Remember he was talking about how Dallas Terrence Newman's a good cornerback or whatever DB. Dallas DBs are short. They're 6 feet or under. You cannot cover a wide receiver that's 6'4" or 6'5" if you're 6 feet. I don't care if you have the speed in the world. You do not have the vertical capability to just go ahead and jump in the air and grab a ball from a Plaxico Burress.
You might not have the vertical ability, but you know what? I was listening to someone on ESPN this morning. Oh no, it was Mangini. They asked him about this. Like, look at Hernandez. Look at all these big, huge receivers. What do you do? What kind of defensive player do you draft? He said, you know who you get? You get a Rodney Harrison. Now, Rodney Harrison wasn't that big. He might have been 6 feet, maybe. 5'11". Exactly. But you know what he did? He let you know he was there. He was physical enough 5 yards, and then when he came across, he would knock you out.
But
so that's
they
the
don't
biggest
let you
thing.
play like that anymore.
Oh, no, you can't. No, I'm not saying that you're going to headhunt. I'm not saying that at all. But be physical. Be physical. Because remember, these are wide receivers. They don't want to get touched. So if you're physical with a guy, I don't care if it was my size. If I'm 5'7". If somebody come across as Jared's size, I swear to God, I'm going right for something. He going to know every time he come across, I'm going to hit you. I'm going to lay you out. So it's about physicality. It might not be about height. You might want to try to go for that. But if you physical and you can get a Rodney Harrison, hey, man, you set.
That's why, like, I prop the Bears. Like, if you want to go back to the Bears, and, like, Ken, you just brought it up. The perfect example, Mike Brown. Mike Brown's only fault was he got injured a lot. But Mike Brown made a presence. He was injury prone.
Bob Sanders.
That's another thing for Indianapolis. Bob Sanders. He made it known. It's like what just Ken said. Like, that's what the difference is. Like, Dallas doesn't have that.
No, they don't have an intimidator nowhere on the field.
I don't even know if the Bears even have the Ken. Like, does the Bears even have that right now this year?
The closest thing we have as far as we talking about DBs, and you've all said it, is Peanut. That's the closest thing we have to as far as tough and people know who Peanut is out there.
But, Jared, are you talking about physicality, like that presence, or are you just talking about a reliable, good cornerback?
Like presence overall, like in general, just like they're there. I'm not talking about like skill level, just as far as presence.
Okay, because I was going to say this. I'm surprised that Stokes and Conte actually been playing pretty well to be, two young guys out there.
Yeah.
I mean, Stokes has been here for a while. He just haven't played. But to actually put him out there and they did okay. I wasn't too.
They were passable.
Yeah,
They were passable.
they was okay.
The one thing I will say, we've been talking about corners and safeties. Let's get back to the real topic here, to everything. Who do you think, because we were talking about Matt Forte earning some money, who do you think in the league right now who's going to be a free agent this year, who's earned the most money?
Who's a free agent?
Drew Brees is going to be a free agent. Now, if you're Seattle, maybe I can't go get Peyton Manning. But if they just franchise Drew Brees, I'm giving up 2 first-round picks for Drew Brees.
Well, here's the thing though with Drew Brees.
Oh wow.
I agree. I like what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Drew Brees is not going to leave any other team. He's going to be a Saint for life.
Money
wait
talk,
a minute,
baby.
Wait a minute.
Money talk.
We're talking about money here.
Money talk.
We're not talking about who I like, who I could go visit in my career. And
Yeah.
he's done everything he's had to do in New Orleans. He's
Yeah.
won a Super Bowl. He's helped rebuild the city. Not a man want to get paid like Tom Brady, like Aaron Rodgers.
Well, how much is he making this year? Can you find out how much is he making per year?
He's making a little bit less than what Dante Culpepper was making out in Miami.
Here's my thing though. Drew Brees though, he's going to get paid in this offseason. Like the whole thing is they don't want to do the contract talks during the season because it's a distraction.
He can't get franchised though,
He
right?
can't get franchised because he doesn't want to be franchised. But that's the same thing if you look with Peyton Manning the past couple years. Peyton Manning got franchised.
Yeah, I want Scarlett Johansson too, but I can't get her.
Exactly. I mean, but if you look at the
you gotta take what you can take.
Exactly. But if you look at
No
the
disrespect to my wife.
franchises, okay, you get franchised for 1 year. So look at how much money you're still making though off of that 1 year. Like Matt Forte said, he doesn't want to get franchised, but most likely, you know what? He's probably going to
He's
get
getting
franchised.
franchised for the next 2 seasons.
But the thing with the Bears, because you said, now you want to talk about the Bears and you're talking about running backs and all that. I'm going to go back to the 2 stones. Name me another running back in the league. Give me 4 running backs that have outproduced and are just plain out better than Matt Forte this
I
year.
can tell you guys that are better than Matt Forte, who have more talent than Matt Forte.
No, I'm not saying
I'm not
talent.
talking about importance. We can't go there because he got the ball every rip because they had nobody else to get the ball to. Let's remember this. And it's not like they had a dynamic offense. The offense was built around Matt Forte. But if you want to sit here and go look at the talent that's out there in the NFL and the talent that's coming out in the draft, you can. I would give him the money. But you have to remember, you can franchise him and draft a running back in the first round, too.
Listen, you better franchise the mess out of Matt Forte, and you better franchise him twice. I would not pay a running back all that money because in 2 years he's not going to be this good. I'm agreeing with what you're saying.
That.
No, I'm saying I'm agreeing with what you're saying. That makes no sense. But this is the problem. We're talking about GM in here, and we don't have a good GM. All right, so now we're saying we're relying on Jerry Angelo to go and find a running back, and the only running back he's lucked up on was Matt Forte, and he doesn't want to pay Matt Forte.
Well,
he doesn't think Forte is quality enough to be paid the way Forte feels like being
Because
paid.
we all know what it looks like that's going to happen. It looks like he's going to get traded. This has all the stampings for a trade, kind of like with Thomas Jones. It looks like he's going to draft a running back in the first couple rounds, hold him for a year, and then see what he can get for him. It's just that's what he did with Thomas Jones. They drafted Cedric Benson. What they do the following year, they traded him.
But I have no problem if you're going to draft another running back. Matter of fact, I would draft another running back. Regardless, I don't care if I do sign him to a contract or if not. Because now the salary is kind of rookie salary is structured now. I have no problem. If the good Lord above, if you believe in him or not, if Ball was to fall into our laps, the kid, Nebraska, Wisconsin?
Yeah, Wisconsin.
Man, if he was if Jerry Angelo don't take him, he needs to be fired right there on the spot. So you take the talent that's there, and I don't care if you do have to let go of Bell. Hell, you can let go of Barber. You give me this kid right here, so then I can't have a 2-man backfield.
Here's my thing though, the Bears. I mean, you're seeing it now, actually. You can get rid of Barber. You have Khalil Bell. Khalil Bell is a stud.
My thing is this. We're all talking about running backs. We don't have a wide receiver. A guy that I trust when it's 3rd and 6, and I need you to go give me
Earl
7.
Bennett.
No, Earl Bennett. Earl Bennett's nice in the slot. Earl Bennett is nice in the slot. We're talking about
Are you serious when you said
We're
Earl
talking
Bennett?
about the fourth quarter.
No, of course I'm not serious. I'm a Cowboys fan,
Well,
but I'm just saying.
He's a solid receiver. He's a
he's a number
perfect
2.
slot guy.
good
He's the
slot guy.
perfect slot guy. What I need is look at what Atlanta went and did. They went and got themselves Julio Jones, and now they're scaring people.
They overpaid for Julio, and I'm an Alabama guy. I would not.
They did not overpay for Julio.
They gave up what? A 1, a 3? What?
They gave him a 1, a 3, and another 1. And look at what he's done all year.
No. He's been hurt. I have him in fantasy actually, and he's only blew up 1 game. Yeah. He said, you know how many games he's had like 0 or had single digits? No. Julio Jones is a good receiver, but I saw him in college. All right, and he's a guy that he's like a super B. All right, as far as his speed isn't explosive as you is. I'm going to tell you another thing. If you know this about Mark Ingram, those Alabama guys are not as big in the pros as they look.
Oh, no, they're not.
Those guys look like giants
What I'm
in
saying
Alabama.
is
And
this.
now it's like, wait, this guy's
What
like
I'm saying is this.
6'1".
Julio Jones.
You would give up that much
can
for
get-
him?
When I'm trying to win a Super Bowl,
Defense, baby.
When I'm trying to win a Super Bowl, but they're not going to outscore anybody. They were not going to be able to go and stop the Packers or stop New Orleans in the playoffs. You're not.
You know
you
who-
have to get 28. You have to get 28.
Do you know who Julio Jones reminds me of?
Who?
Percy Harvin.
No.
He's the same exact type of wide receiver.
No, Julio Jones goes up there and gets the ball.
Do you know how many games Julio Jones has missed this year?
I'm not worried about. I'm worried about when I need you to play against the big boys. When he's scoring those touchdowns, he has about 7 or 8 touchdowns this year.
You gotta hope that he even be there though. That's the problem about it.